Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And we're here tonight to talk about an interesting thing and very exciting thing that's going on here in the talk in Clinton. And what we're going to be doing tonight, we're going to talk about a coalition between the Morgan School, also manufacturers in town, also Goodwin College. So we're really excited about this, and we hope that you enjoy it. We'll be talking to some of the manufacturers. We'll be talking to some of the people who have started the program. Most importantly, if you have any questions about this, we'll give you some information at the end of the show. If you have other shows you'd like us to cover like this one, please contact us at iris.dunham@clintonpublic.net. So to start off, we're going to be talking to some of the people who started, but we're also going to be talking to some of the manufacturers. Okay, we said we'd be talking to some of the manufacturers. We have us tonight. Your name?
Carrie Corson.
Hi, Carrie. And your name?
Erin Corson.
Hi, Erin. Oh, mother and daughter?
Yes.
Oh, what a good team, right?
Yes.
Now, talk a little bit about Bausch, what you do and how you're involved in this program, and what the main theme is at Bausch and some of the things you do.
Okay, so as I said, I'm Carrie Corson, and I'm the purchasing manager. And actually, I've been in September. I'll be at Bausch for 25 years.
Congratulations.
Yes, yeah, it's pretty exciting for me. So as I mentioned, I'm the purchasing manager, and I actually purchase, a lot of the manufacturer parts.
Manufacture pharmaceutical machines. So we do the filling and the closing machines for the pharmaceutical industry. Mm-hmm. We are here because Mr. Bausch, the president of our company, is very involved with Morgan School in trying to get interns so that students can get involved in their career.
Oh, great. Now, what are some of the things that you actually manufacture?
So we manufacture the machines that make filling and closing machines for syringes, vials,
powder filling machines. We do little small benchtop machines from anywhere from like I said,
the size of a Keurig
and
to
different types.
Oh, nice.
We actually have about 10 students. Actually, a few of them here that are graduating this year are interns for our engineering software program, mechanical engineering, and actually students who have graduated Morgan have stayed as interns and will work throughout their school year and then come back in the winter breaks.
Now, can they come directly from high school into a job at Bausch?
Depending. I mean, there are some where a degree is needed, but we also offer a number of different departments that don't require a college education.
Okay.
We do a lot of on-the-job training.
Great, because I imagine in today's environment, inflation, and everything that's going on, and college education becoming so expensive, I think this is a great transition from high school into some manufacturing job, and I think that's awesome that you guys are participating in this and helping the kids, and that's something few parents understand. It might not necessarily be that they have to go to college, and there's good jobs out there, and we've got manufacturers like Bausch who are willing to participate in it, help your kids get a good job, and then become a vital part of the community.
Yes, absolutely. And being that even when we talk about the manufacturing, they're like a full service, between, you can do the sales to, from designing it to assembly, and then we have a manufacturing, where we do manufacture, but there are so many other departments. Project management that you can learn from.
Great. Now, if some of the kids or the parents want to learn more about Bausch and what you're doing, who should they contact? What would be the best place to contact?
They should contact Kathy Tanner, our human resource manager. And so you can just call Bausch and ask for Kathy, or even ask for Erin. I'm the human resource assistant, and we're more than happy to speak to anyone who's interested.
Great.
And also on our website, the www.bausch-group.com, you can go there, and it will also talk about the jobs that we have open and available.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for participating. This is great for the community. I'm Tom Foster. Scott Law, you're representing Argo EMS. Explain what your business is and how you relate to the kids and how you're participating in this program.
So Argo EMS is a contract manufacturer of printed circuit board assemblies. This is our 53rd year in business. We're located right here in Clinton.
They like what you just said.
Yep. So it's good.
Located right here in Clinton?
Right here in Clinton.
Okay, and so explain what you're doing in terms of your manufacturing. What do you do?
So we manufacture printed circuit board assemblies.
Yep.
We have things that are in satellites all the way up in the air, all the way down to military and aerospace, all the way down to commercial stuff like induction cooktop.
Wow. So how would that be? So how would you use something like that? You said you use it in military.
They're all custom design
Wow.
fabrications, right? They're proprietary to the customer. We do not do any of the design, but we manufacture to our customers' needs.
That's great. Now, how many employees do you currently have?
I have 36.
36.
employees.
Now, and you are the president of the company?
I am the general manager.
General manager of the company. Okay. Now, tell me about the programs with the kids. How are you relating with the Morgan students and some of the younger students in town?
So this is something that's new for me. is a lot of families were unaware that we're making this right here in Clinton.
Right, exactly. I
So-
wasn't aware of it, so that,
Part of the Clinton Business Coalition, and just being a good business leader, right? We have to get out to the students. So part of now that we're out of, I hope, over this COVID hurdle,
Right.
is to start to look at, over the next 3 years, developing either an internship program or a work share or a job share, some type of job shadowing. Why? We have to generate the next
generation,
the next
yeah,
generation
sure.
to work with, right?
Right.
So, and today, the kids, it's important that they know or have a path.
that's absolutely. So now, do you currently have an internship?
We do not.
Okay, but that's something that's in the process
It's in
of
the
developing.
process, yeah.
Great. And how long have you been part of the Manufacturing Coalition?
Since the inception, I think it's been going on 3 years now. So Bob runs a pretty good show,
really-
and it's good that we kind of get together.
I think it's great, sharing ideas, and that helps you better your companies as well. Well, Scott, thank you so much for taking
Thank
the
you.
time. Okay, our next manufacturer is represented tonight is Kenyon Electric Grills. Thank you. This is Phil. And Phil, what's your position? Phil Williams, what's your position?
I'm the president of the
You're the president. Well, thank you for participating in this. And tell me a little bit about what you do besides the grills. What kind of grills? How many do you produce typically? Different sizes, shapes? Tell us a little bit about
This
it.
is our entry-level grill. They're all electric. We don't do any gas, no charcoal grills. So we make this entry size, and then we go up to a grill that's got 3 of these on it. So you got 3 different cooking zones. They're all separately temperature regulated. We do all of the sheet metal work. We punch it. We've got robotic bending machines and CNC turret punches. We also do ceramic cooktops. We're the largest manufacturer of 2-burner ceramic glass cooktops in North America.
Wow.
We supply all of the extended stay hotels with their 2-burner cooktops that they use for their facilities such as Marriott Residence Inn. That's probably one of the best named
Sure.
extended stay hotels out there. So we employ just under 60 people. We're based here in Clinton.
Great.
We started in 1931. It was started by a man by the name of Ted Kenyon, and we started in the marine industry. We're still very strong in the marine industry, but the hospitality business is where we really excel.
Great. Now, have you worked with kids in the program from Clinton? Or do you have an intern
Yes.
program they can participate in?
Yes.
And how did they get involved in it?
Excuse me. We started with working with the kids in the younger schools and teaching them about engineering and what manufacturing is about. We've had job shadows where the kids will come in with a coach and they'll walk through the facility for a day or two and see if they want to get involved with the manufacturing. We've had interns from Morgan work in our engineering department. We've actually got several graduates from Morgan that work for us that we have brought in, and we are paying their tuition to get their degrees in the fields that they really were wanting to work in. We've also done a lot of training, internal training of the students so that they can come up, and now they are some of the highest paid employees in the company.
That's great. Now, can a kid who does say, I don't want to go to college, first of all, you have a tuition program, and what part of the tuition are you willing to pay, or what are you paying for the tuition?
It depends on the grades they get.
Okay.
So it's,
What should be?
it's
Yep.
incentive.
Yeah.
So we will pay up to, I think it's 80%
Wow.
of the tuition.
Wow.
Yes.
And how many kids have actually taken advantage of that, Phil?
We've had 3
Three.
so far.
Okay. And could a Morgan student who didn't want to necessarily get involved in college, could they transition directly into your place of employment, directly into Kenyon?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So they don't have to necessarily go to college.
No.
But I would imagine the salary they receive will be predicated upon whether they have that degree or not, or no.
Right, it depends on the position that they would be hired for.
Yep.
So, we have just assembly people. They'll start off, actually, the people that have come to us from Morgan over the years have started off in the shipping and receiving department. The very basic, bringing boxes in, putting them away on shelves. And they've gone up to become certified stainless steel welders.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate the participation. I think this coalition of all you manufacturers coming together for the good of our town, the kids, and the parents, I think it's a great thing. And thank you very much for participating, Phil.
Thank you.
Others that came tonight to see what's going on here with the Clinton Coalition, and your name is?
My name's Carissa McComiskey.
Now, I think I've seen your husband somewhere before. I think we interviewed your husband for the marathon running. And what did you take away from tonight's meeting?
I'm really excited excited about the new program. Luke is a freshman here at Morgan, and Tom is an engineer, so he has that background. I actually wish he could have been here tonight.
Sure.
He's away.
Was he out running?
No, actually, surprisingly. But I think it's really exciting.
Good.
I'm excited for Luke. I'm hoping he gets interested in some of the new offerings, classes.
Great. And Luke, what did you take away from it?
I'm looking forward for the next couple years because I'm looking forward to be taking these classes and be using these machines.
And you also want to follow in your father's footsteps, right? Being an engineer?
Maybe.
Oh, that's good. Well, good luck and congratulations. How about yourself? What's your name?
My name is Cole Donnelly. I'm a freshman here at Morgan, and I was excited about just the opportunities to be presented at Morgan and just helping getting out of college. And I'm really looking forward to do engineering. Like later in life, my father works in engineering, chemical, and kind of want to follow in his footsteps. So.
Great. And what was one of the things that impressed you the most tonight?
Definitely the machine. I've never seen a machine that big before. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, just think, both you and Luke can be working on this machine someday, right?
Yeah.
And making it happen. Well, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys, as freshmen right now, maybe as seniors. We'll see you moving on to bigger and better things, and hopefully it's in manufacturing and engineering to follow in the footsteps of your dads. So thank you. We have another parent here. And what is your name?
Brian Donnelly.
Hi, Brian. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. And what did you take away from the program tonight, Brian?
It was really good to see all the local manufacturing. As someone, I run manufacturing sites around Connecticut also.
Yep.
And so it's good to see local manufacturers helping with the school, really giving the opportunity to train the kids and things they'll actually be doing and kind of get some hands-on experience.
It was interesting, as I've said to several of the parents. Were you aware that we had that many manufacturers right here in Clinton?
A little bit. I used to run a manufacturing site over in Guilford, so a little bit, but I didn't know there was this many though.
Yeah, and were you impressed by that machine in there?
Yeah, it was nice.
That was pretty incredible. Now, will your son be pursuing engineering, you think?
He seems to be interested in it.
Good.
So.
Good. And I think this coalition between the school and Goodwin College and, of course, the coalition with all the manufacturers, I think it's a great thing for our town.
I agree. I think it'd be very good.
Good. Well, we hope that it works out. We hope you enjoyed it tonight, and we hope your son follows in their footsteps and becomes just as successful as his dad.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. With one of the parents, and what is your name?
Bill Renato.
Bill. And what did you get out of the program tonight?
Well, it was really for my son. He's interested in engineering.
Yep.
So it was good to see all the different opportunities they have here.
In the presentation, you found
It was awesome.
good presentation. That machine was pretty incredible, wasn't it?
I didn't know what it was at first, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was really nice.
And, as parents, did you realize we had so many manufacturers in this town and the various things that they do in this town?
I didn't. No.
It's really incredible to see what they're doing and the jobs that they have available for your kids. And is your child going to be interested in getting involved in engineering and maybe involved in the program?
He is.
Okay.
Yeah, he's already taken engineering 1, and he just want to learn a little bit about what Morgan has to offer.
Great. And I think they got a lot to offer, don't you think?
Yep.
Great. Well, thank you so much. What's your name?
Susan Landino.
Susan. And what is your name?
Colton Landino.
And Susan, what made you come to this program? What was the interest that you had in coming and learning all about it?
So my son Colton has one of his aspirations is to be an aeronautical engineer.
Wow. Great.
He's in 7th grade. So
That's-
we're ahead of the times right now.
We are.
But I figure get him exposed to it before he comes here.
Sure.
And meeting Mr. Chapman and Bob over there, it's a great opportunity. And I like to be involved as possible.
Sure.
And talk to as many people as I can.
That's
Even
great.
though my kids get mortified about it, I think
Hey.
it's wonderful.
The more parents we can get involved in your kids. And
I'm
learning,
involved in everything. I volunteer for everything
Well, that's good for you.
because
And that's what all parents should
This is
do.
my best job, right? This
Well,
is my
you-
most.
well, you've done a
important-
good job.
This
It's
is
gonna
my
be-
most important job.
That's
so
awesome.
this is what I do, and although he didn't want to be here, I think maybe he'll say later on, "Thanks for bringing me, Mom."
Great. And what was the thing that impressed you the most tonight?
I'm really impressed with these seniors and their projects.
Great.
They're.
Did you look at that electric car?
It's
Yeah.
really cool.
And we're going to be doing a separate show just on the electric car.
Well, one of the things I said, where did you race it? And they're like, right out here. I mean,
like they've seen that.
come on.
And how about that machine? That was pretty impressive, wasn't
I
it?
think we came in a little late because we had another
Oh.
meeting, but even to see the student projects over here,
Yeah.
this is where I was at the beginning of this year, and then this is what I developed towards the end.
That's great.
And that, that's pretty impressive.
That's great. Now, Cole, what about from your perspective? You know, did your mother drag you here, or did you have a little bit of interest?
I had a little bit of interest,
Yeah.
but I also got dragged too.
You also what? You got dragged? So is it dragging with interest?
Yeah.
Yeah. And having come now, are you glad you came?
Yes.
Do you have some of the cookies?
Not yet.
Oh, come on. You got to get some cookies. Now, but what was one of the things, or some of the things that impressed you the most, Colton?
As my mom said, seeing what they were doing in the beginning of the year and then what they did at the end of the year, it was so much like. So I saw a calculator. It was big and bulky, and then I saw a touch screen that actually showed the answer, and it was really impressive.
That's great. What did you think about that machine?
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's great that you start in 7th grade. That's awesome, and hopefully next time you interview, you'll be a senior and you'll be ready to go off to become an astronomical engineer. I can imagine the day you graduate, you're gonna have to deal with this. Your mom's gonna be all over it.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's great to see parents like yourself involved
thank
like
you
that.
so much.
And Colton, I hope this is something you're gonna a career path that'll lead you to success, and I'm sure it will. Given your mom behind your back, you're gonna be all set. But again, thank you so much for coming, and hopefully this is rewarding. Another person that's very interested in and very integral in this whole process is the state is now getting involved. And I have with me Paul Lavoie. Paul, maybe you could explain what your role is and how you're interrelating with this whole program.
Sure, yes, very much so. So I am the Chief Manufacturing Officer for the state of Connecticut, appointed by the governor. Connecticut's the only state with a Chief Manufacturing Officer, and my job is simply to help support and grow manufacturing in the state of Connecticut. And our single biggest issue in the state of Connecticut as relates to manufacturing is workforce.
Right.
Is making sure that we have a well-trained workforce to be able to meet the needs of our manufacturers. Connecticut's a state that has work looking for workers.
Right.
And so we're in the I'm thrilled to be out here at the Morgan School, to be here in Clinton, to talk a little bit, to understand a little bit more about the coalition, and to really get kids excited about life-changing careers that are available in manufacturing.
Absolutely. And one of the things I think is important in today's environment, inflation and everything else allows people to say, I got to go to college to get a good job. But I think through this program, the internship, this is a pathway that perhaps they can do something besides having to go to college to get a good job. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are many exits off of the manufacturing pathway, if you will, and this is a great way for the kid that loves to work with their hands, and really wants to get started on a career. And their education doesn't stop when you go to work in manufacturing, because there's training opportunities and there's new technology that's being introduced all the time, and so people are continually training, they're continually sharpening their saw and growing and learning, and they'll get a great education and have a great career and get paid for it. Hey, it's nothing better than getting paid to learn.
That's right.
Rather than learning, paying to learn, right? So.
Now, when you came to Clinton, we now have this coalition. The manufacturers came together with Goodwin College and also the Morgan School. Is there any other town that's doing this similar in the state?
Oh, sure, absolutely. There's about, I think at last count, about 120 towns that have advanced manufacturing centers in the towns, and then we have our technical high school system, and then we have our 13 community colleges and the four four-year universities under the Connecticut State College University system. Connecticut has one of the most robust manufacturing educational systems in the country. When we go outside of Connecticut and talk to people about what we offer in manufacturing, states that are much, much larger than us are looking at us saying, you've got to be kidding me that you have all that. So when it comes to manufacturing education and technical education, Connecticut punches above its weight class.
And plus, you're one of a kind because you said we're the only state in the whole country that has a chief manufacturing officer, right?
Yeah, that's true. And I get to, and again, my job is to make sure that we're supporting and growing manufacturing. So I get to go out to events like this and visit manufacturers and make sure that we have programs in place that make sure that we have a strong manufacturing ecosystem. Manufacturing jobs create other jobs. For every job you have in manufacturing, we create 3 to 4 other jobs in the economy. Every dollar that's spent in manufacturing generates $2.79 in the economy. Perfect. So how you grow economies through manufacturing jobs.
That's great. Now the other thing is, you said there's work looking for workers.
Yeah.
And how's the employment rate here in Connecticut right now? Given COVID's ended, we're still in the inflation, but what's the job market look like to you?
So there's I think the last numbers are there's 1.8 jobs for every person looking for a job.
Wow.
So if you're seeking a job, there's plenty of work available. The issue we have with Connecticut is there's 110,000 open positions, not just manufacturing, throughout the whole state, and there's 80,000 people on unemployment. Wow. So we're 30,000 short if we took everybody off of unemployment. So we really need to look at what we call the labor participation rate, and that is people that can work that are not working and we have to look at the reason why they're not. And we know that, for example, childcare is an issue for people not working. We know that transportation is an issue.
Especially with gas prices.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And the governor in the last budget has $100 million set aside for childcare to be able to make more accessible childcare. So we really have to look at growing the labor participation rate. So it really isn't about unemployment rate or unemployment. We'll reskill people who are unemployed, but we also need to look at people who can work, but for some reason they're being prevented, eliminate those and get them back.
So what the governor's really trying to do is he's trying to eliminate those obstacles so those people can go back to work and get those jobs that are out there.
Right, we're trying to make the pie bigger, right? We're trying to make, trying to get more people engaged in working, and then, try to attract people to come into Connecticut to work in advanced manufacturing, because we make some pretty cool stuff here.
Great. Well, Paul, thank you so much. And
My pleasure.
congratulations, the number one in the country.
I know,
Go
right?
get it, bud.
It's exciting.
Thank you so much for your
You bet.
participation.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome back. As I said, it takes a team to bring things like this together. And so we're going to talk to some of the other participants, our principal here, our teacher, and a gentleman from Goodwin College. So if you'd like to introduce yourselves, first of all.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Carrie Hagnes, principal of the Morgan School.
And
I'm Matt Dodona. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Pathways and Partnerships at Goodwin University.
And Larry?
And Larry Chapman at Morgan School, obviously, for engineering teacher.
Now let's talk about from the school's perspective. How did the school get involved, and how did you get involved with Goodwin College?
Sure. So I have to really defer to Marco Famigletti, our assistant superintendent, who really was eager to see the partnership between the high school and Goodwin College. And I think in looking at that partnership, reached out to Matt and reached out to Goodwin University to kind of see what are the capabilities of us partnering, because we knew that we really wanted to blend some of the components of engineering as it currently existed, but also see the growing need in our town of manufacturing. And so really looking at what are the possibilities, and is there potential for students to be able to earn college credit, and really looking at getting more career ready. And so Marco really reached out, and I'll let you kind of talk about that.
Yeah, so Matt,
story.
so from your perspective, how did this all come together? I know Marco was a big motivating factor. We talked to Bob Warner, we talked to Marianne O'Connell. But from your perspective, how did this all come about, and how did you get involved?
Yeah, so I've been dealing with the school now for over a year. It started out kind of doing really an audit of the program. What's existing currently? What do we have? Where do we want to improve? What are the businesses looking for? What are the great things that Larry and Ted, the teachers here, are doing? And then how do we take that up a level, right? And so it started with that audit. We were looking at the current programming offerings, what was here for equipment. I remember coming down to the shop very early on, before the piece of equipment was in, advise them about, what are the right pieces of equipment to buy, what aligns with the needs of industry. And then we talked about how can we take the existing high school courses and articulate those with the university. And so that the students have that opportunity to not only earn their high school credits while they're here, but then are also earning 3 college credits. And that levels up the experience for them, and it opens up the doors to other opportunities for them post-secondary.
Right. So the credits they're earning here, they're taking courses, as Bob was explaining, also Marianne, that then can be applied at Goodwin.
Correct.
And then is there any type of financial help that comes as a result of this in terms of the kids, continuing with that education?
Yeah, so we offer the credits at a significantly reduced price here. The students are able to earn those credits it's $150 for a 3-credit course.
Okay.
The book value of that course, if they were to come and take it on our campus at Goodwin, is $2,121.
Wow.
So it's incredible value to be able to earn those courses. They have the opportunity to take 2 courses while they're here, and we're looking to expand those even further. And then from there, there's scholarships that are available. There's a grant scholarship through the Gene Haas Foundation, where students can earn scholarships for that. A lot of students will also go on into manufacturing, so they'll get sponsored by a company, and that manufacturing company or engineering company will pay for them to continue their education.
Awesome.
So there's a tremendous amount of opportunities, and I think what we heard tonight too was there's over 6,000 manufacturing jobs in Connecticut right now.
Yeah,
And
Paul was
so
saying that.
companies are getting creative with trying to recruit students, to trying to get people into these opportunities, and so they want to make it as enticing as possible.
Sure.
And offering college courses is one way to do that.
Now, are these credits that they take, are they just for Goodwin College? Are they transferable?
No, so all the courses that they're taking are transferable.
Okay.
Goodwin is a part of the university consortium within the state, so the credits will transfer. And I've had students that go and take manufacturing courses, but then I've had students go to University of Hartford or to UConn, and they're able to apply those credits in their engineering program as well.
Great. Now, being the principal of the school, how's the response been to the whole program?
A lot of excitement.
Yes.
A lot of excitement on behalf of the staff, a lot of excitement on behalf of the community, a lot of excitement, I think, for parents who really are looking for their children to have opportunities. And I think this is a great opportunity with a partnership that we're forming. And I think for many, it's looking at allowing us to change with the needs of where careers are going. And that's exciting for me,
Sure.
frankly.
And is it possible, because college education becomes so expensive, so
Yes.
nice to hear there are scholarship programs, but is it possible from a student's capability to transition right into the manufacturer itself without having to take that next step?
And I think we want to give kids options, right? And so students have choices to make. They have choices in terms of, do I want to maybe start in the world of work to see really, do I enjoy this? Is this something that I'm
Right.
passionate about before I go into that next level? So we are very conscientious about what are the things that they're learning here that give them decisions that they'll make later on in life.
Great. Now, Larry, being the teacher here in the engineering department, how has this program really changed your life and the lives of your students?
Well, I think because it gives them real world experience, and it's kind of a different educational experience for the kids because there's no real right answer. They come in here and they have to kind of develop an answer, like the electric car.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that in an upcoming show.
So anything like that, they come in and it isn't like they can look up the answer. They have to kind of formulate it, be creative, innovative, and do all these things that they haven't done as much in their life. So it's kind of some of their first experience for that. And it can look kind of different at times. But other times it can look amazing.
Right.
And it's just the way it is. But I think it's changed the kids. I mean, they come in here. We've had a lot of successful kids here move on, and it's. I think the thing I enjoy being a teacher the most is getting cards and letters back from them.
Sure.
How much it helped them their first year, and later on when they're working, or even a few years ago when I was at Old Sickert, the kids wanted to talk to me like 10 years later.
That's awesome.
And it was, my daughter met these kids and they call up and, hey, can you come down? And I didn't, and I wish I had. But,
Yeah.
That's what I love. I bump into them.
Sure. It's a sense of gratification, and you're creating a legacy, both for both for yourself and for the school. And they have those kids come back, and 10 years later, and still want to get information from you. I think that's a real tribute to you, what you've done, and I think this program is going to even enhance that even more. Wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah. Having this is just something that it helps both. Manufacturing kids can get a job right out of school.
Yeah.
That was our first. Remember, we really wanted to have a career path for kids that wanted to just work after school.
Right.
And this can give them a great career path to start, get paid well, and a good future. But it also helps my engineering kids.
Sure.
Like the one I have a student go to MIT, he would have loved to have learned how to use this machine.
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
they do like F1 Formula cars at any of the good engineering schools.
Wow.
And to get on those teams, my son went in engineering at UConn, and he didn't have that experience.
Yep.
And he went, geez, Dad, if you're a freshman and you get in at UConn, you're not getting on that F1 team unless you can weld, you can do CNC machining, or at the time, programming through an Arduino.
Right.
Wow.
So that's why I bring that stuff here, because that allows the kids to come in as a freshman and get on those exciting teams right at the beginning.
Right. And matter of fact, there's one child who's out here right now, is in 7th grade. And, having that sort of that backfill, these kids just keep coming. And I think the other thing, too, is, talking about creating a legacy, those kids who have graduated, there's a student from MIT, they'll come back, and I'm sure they'll be, influential of the kids that are in the program right away.
Oh, yeah, I'm going up to visit him. He's already gave me the... it's just interesting. MIT is an interesting school in a lot of different ways.
Sure.
They already had him in there. He met professors and other students.
That's awesome.
And they went out for dinner, and he says the stuff that they work on and they do, it's just... Like, he loves this lab. He spends a ton of his day down here.
Really, that's great.
More than he probably should.
Right.
He's
got the principal's blessing.
and even
Yeah.
the teacher's blessing, because he's
Yeah.
usually far ahead in some of his classes to where whether he's missing math or whatever, but he wants to work on.
Right, because like you say, this trains your mind to think outside the box. And in today's environment, you got to be able to think outside the box in order to be successful. So I think that's a great thing for the kids as well. They have that learning experience. Like so, you can read something in the textbook, you take the test, but it doesn't give you that hands-on experience of working with machines like you're going to explain to me. Those machines over there, that's really incredible. And I think it's a great thing you've all come together. You know, it's nice. It's also nice to see a seed has been planted and now it's growing and will continue to grow. And it's due to the credit of you three people and everybody else we've talked to tonight. So thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Machine.
Yeah,
Larry, thank you so
You
much.
bet.
Two very integral people in getting this whole program started. One of the persons we're missing tonight is Marco Fragmaletti, easy for me to say, but he's been very integral. But two of the most influential people in our town, Bob Warner, who actually set up this whole coalition, and of course Mary Ann O'Donnell, who's our superintendent of schools. So first of all, Bob, how did you go about getting this done? And you know, you got this great coalition, all these great manufacturers coming together. How did you do it?
How I did this started in 2018 when we first pulled together the coalition. That was the very first thing that happened when I came here, and that's the 6 manufacturers. And from the output of that very, very first meeting that we had, I made them put an action plan together. I don't believe in just sitting down and say we're all going to get together and sing Kumbaya.
Right.
And I said, what do you want to achieve? What are your problems, and how can I help to do that? Well, we have a whole action list, and out of one of those came, and it actually came from Bosch back in 2018, is we have to have a much deeper presence in the school system. Right. And that was an action item. Fast forward to 2019, we decided they wanted to move with that, and I'm learning all this on the go. I had enough information to be dangerous at that time. I spent some time in Wallingford with a gentleman called Sal Menzo who did it, and then I basically went to him and said, what the heck do I do?
Yeah.
And the first thing I did is sat down with Mary Ann and Marco, and I had heard some rumors that I was here to tell them what to do. And in 33 years of my own being self-employed, never told anybody what to do. I'm a process guy.
Right.
And we sat down together, and we had a very good meeting. And the three of us were probably on the same page and said our biggest challenge is going to be awareness.
Right.
Meaning we have, and I knew this long before, that parents are pushing kids to go to college, go to college, go to college.
Right.
And there's other avenues.
Right.
And so we chose to sit down, we put a core team together. Marco's become a great partner. He and I are kind of joined at the hip with this process, but it's been a learning process for both he and I. And we put an action plan together, put our team together, and we started to go forward. And we stayed together, and I said, listen, even if we do one little thing, I have a lot of free time, I can be your grunt. Let's just do whatever. And we did some small things, and I said, I'd like to come out when we get the green light, not come out having to start all over again.
Sure.
And we didn't. We came out ahead of the game. We would not be here tonight if we had not. And I'm going to tell Mark, give credit where credit's due. Marco, if he wasn't as persistent as he was, and that's all you got to do with me is be persistent.
Right.
So the long story short, that's what led us to actually restart the engine. Mm-hmm. And I think it was a good thing.
Right.
I think the break turned out to be an asset for us.
Good.
Personally.
Yep. Because it gave you time to get your thoughts together and improve upon the game plan.
I come from a world, if you live in a world where Darth Vader showed up, it causes you to be more creative and more innovative, not just cruise with what's going on. And that helped me through this process, and I pursued other ways that I never dreamed of and heard of, and Marco did. So we pulled that together, and that's what caused all of what we're seeing here tonight to come to fruition. That's really we have a commitment from not just from the school, the Board of Education, the PTA, the manufacturers, the town council. We pulled them all together way back when, and I'll be quite frank, I would not be standing here right now if any one of them said, this is not going to happen because I'm not going to. I'll go back fishing again or something.
No, Marion, I was very impressed.
Anyhow.
I was very impressed. Let's stick around. I was very impressed by the fact when you were talking to the parents. you really were giving them some background on the program. And maybe you can give us a little bit of background on the program and how it gets involved, how did Goodwin College get involved?
Sure.
And how did this, the rest of this come together? Bob put together this amazing coalition. He's worked together with Marco and a lot of the other people in town, like you said, Bob. But what was the impetus? What really is, if I was a parent right now,
Sure.
and you wanted to sell me on doing this, give me that pitch.
Absolutely. So we had the bones of a lot of components. In our middle school, we have 2 STEM teachers, and so we start our students with exposure there, and we have some great things going on in individual classes with robotics, woodworking, and some of the basics of engineering design. And then we built this beautiful high school in this town, and we were able to kind of vision it with this program and equipment and thinking about what we wanted it to become. And it's taken several years. We've been here 6 years now, and we've built that, and I will give credit because Bob came on board and Marco Famiglietti, my assistant superintendent, he's my curriculum person.
Yep.
And we did a lot of talking about how we connect this together and we create opportunities for kids. And when you look around in the world, what we want our students to do is to leave here with real experiences of applying, problem solving, critical thinking, and manufacturing, engineering, design. That's a whole area of growth and opportunity for our students. What we didn't realize was the opportunity coming right out of high school for our kids.
Right.
And, I will give credit to Marco as we started to dig in more, work with Bob. Bob's a great listener, and he's a great systems guy. And he told me that day one, and I'm a systems person too.
Okay.
And so we've built this to look at a pathway for kids. And we have, several seniors that are making decisions to go into engineering who worked and had courses here. And they're all going into slightly different avenues, but they have real practical experience using higher tech equipment, real world application of software. And they also get a chance in our upper level courses to do some of their own designing and pursuing their passions under our Mr. Chapman here. And so, we've been able to elevate our program, and the partnership with Goodwin was that final piece.
Now
I
explain
think.
the partnership with Goodwin and how
Sure.
they entered the picture.
So really Bob had a connection with former superintendent in Wallingford, Sal Menzo, who is now, I don't know his exact title, he now is kind of a superintendent at Goodwin
Their magnet
University.
school system, yeah.
Of their magnet school system. And so Matt, that connection up there, and Marco also had a connection with Matt prior. So as they started working, that idea of being able to offer our students not just the experience here, but dual credit. So you can get credit here at Morgan for taking these courses. You get to explore things that you might not have done before. You get to develop skills. But now our students have an opportunity to follow an advanced curriculum that gives them college credit through
Right.
Goodwin. And so when that was on the table, it was a no-brainer for us to say, this is the future of high school. Everybody's heard of advanced placement classes,
yeah.
and College Board, but these credits give kids that chance not only to elevate their transcript, to continue at Goodwin, to get their associate's degree almost completely before they leave here, and now get into the workforce and continue their education with experience. So it gives a variety of pathways and opportunities to kids. And at 18, it's hard for a
figure out where
student to know exactly what
sure.
it's going to be. And I keep
Yeah.
saying life is a journey. I would
Oh,
never
yeah.
have dreamed I'd be in this role when
Right.
I was leaving high school.
Right.
But that path along the way of taking steps, having opportunities, and that's what we want to create here. So Goodwin has created that for us. Our students will have that opportunity to get credit. And they're going to get a solid curriculum, because that's the other piece that's really hard in a small school,
Sure.
to be able to give industry standard curriculum. Goodwin helps to do that for us, and we're teaching Goodwin courses. And then our partnerships with our manufacturers do that as well.
Great.
So our students here in Clinton are so fortunate to
Yes.
have all of this and passionate people, both in, our partners here, Bob, we now have the state who knows we're
Yes.
on the map,
Paul
right?
Lloyd, yeah.
And Matt Dodona at Goodwin has been amazing. So I'm just excited, and if you talk tonight to some of our
I
students,
did, and they were very
right?
excited. The parents were very excited about it. They got a lot out of it. And now the credits that they're building up here, those are applicable to when they go to Goodwin. But are they just applicable to Goodwin? Or-
So I do believe there is there can be some recognition of credits, just like we have a program with UConn, the early college experience, and you get UConn credit. If you don't go to UConn, it can be transferable to other colleges.
Okay.
Each college is a little different.
Right.
So in some cases, they might get a general elective credit. In other cases, the college might not afford credit there. Sometimes that's a business decision
Sure,
for the
yeah,
college.
yeah.
But what it does is it helps build our students' resumes, and their applications are enhanced because they have these credits under their belt and they have experiences that are valid and
Sure.
real.
And one of the manufacturers was telling me that once the kids are involved in this program, the internship, they'll actually help subsidize their college
They will.
education, which is
They
phenomenal.
will.
And I
These
think,
guys are so committed to this.
Yep.
And something interesting, I was listening to Mary Ann talk. When I first got these groups together, the manufacturing guys didn't know there was even engineering courses here.
right,
The school didn't know that these guys had these needs.
right.
And this is in a small town. And that doesn't surprise me. That happens
Right.
a lot more. And for me, this helps bring the whole community together
No question.
through that process.
Right.
And the other thing that excites me about this is not just the curriculum. You can be book smart, but not be able to apply that.
Right, yeah.
Here, it's like when I went to trade school.
You got something you can physically
Yes.
do.
I went to trade school,
Yeah.
right? I didn't go to high school. I went to trade school, and that's back when they said you were not smart enough to go to high school.
Yeah.
I did pretty good in my life from that. But it was, you'd go from classroom, then you'd go put that classroom and actually into use.
Right. And be
This
paid
is-
for it. And be paid
this
for
is-
it.
This is it.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
is it. I mean, that's what
Right.
I see down
Right.
the road. And really, it does provide an opportunity. And Marco wrote our problem statement. I haven't put a charter together
Yeah.
to stay focused. And he wrote it, and it basically was just to provide, it's not to jam manufacturing down kids' or parents' throat. It's just to provide them a view and an opportunity to see something they may never thought of before
Right.
or were unaware of. And for me,
This is it.
this is it.
Now, we talk about college. Is it possible? I asked a couple of the manufacturers this, that just transition directly from high school with these things into the manufacturer without having to go to college.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And that's important. I think if it was inflation being what it is and everything else in today's society, if you can be paid, you're in this part of this program, you go into a manufacturing company, they take you under their wing. You don't necessarily have to go to college. You don't have that college debt. And if you do want to college, some of them will actually
That's one of
subsidize
the
it.
biggest
Correct.
advantages.
If not, you're making enough money to save for college
Right,
to be able to
exactly.
pay for it without
Exactly.
debt.
That's one of the this is happening all over the country.
Right.
This is not unique here, but it does provide the students a chance to come out of high school and go straight in, and they can go two paths, but straight into manufacturing. And the average, I don't know what Paul said, but the average wage is like $84,000 a year for manufacturing. And
It's pretty good.
He said
that's
50
pretty
to
good.
6 figures.
Yeah.
Start around 50.
And no debt.
That's the key. No debt.
I think the other thing for us is we're aware that the skill set, I mean, look at this Haas milling machine, right?
Right.
The skill set that's needed, the math skills, the
Yes.
problem solving, the critical thinking, the communication skills, it's not just, sawing on something, it's not just cutting and tooling something. It is a complex machine that involves from start to finish a variety of skill sets. And that skill set, whether you continue in manufacturing or you take it somewhere else, is what we're trying to develop in
It'll
our students.
stimulate every
the
brain
content
cell.
and the
That's right.
experience is that conduit to students finding opportunity.
Well, I think what you're doing is unbelievable, Bob. It started, as a seed, now it's growing into a tree, and then it's going to grow into something even much larger. And to have the cooperation of these manufacturers, the school, and Goodyear, I think is a real testimony to all the hard work you guys have put in. And I hope the kids appreciate it. I hope the parents appreciate it, because this is, it's not unique to Clinton, but it's something that's going to help these kids grow and help their parents as well, especially in this economic times that we're in. And if people want more information about this, where should they call? What should they do, Miriam?
So you can contact the high school. Our guidance office has information about courses. You can contact our teachers directly. Mr. Larry Chapman runs most of these programs, and we have a couple other teachers who support it. Marco Famigletti, my assistant superintendent, can give that broad overview. We have information on our website with some contact numbers, and there's a landing page with information. Hopefully we'll have a little bit about tonight and some pictures. But anybody in any of the schools, either the middle school or here, have some information and can get you to the right person.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Bob.
You're welcome.
Great job.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thank
Tom.
you for participation.
My pleasure.
All right, Matt, it's interesting. As I was interviewing some of the parents and the kids, I said, what was the thing that impressed you the most? He said, that machine was unbelievable. And I saw you were starting to give a little lecture about it. Just give us a quick rundown about what this machine does.
Yeah, so this is a Haas TM1P. I've been working with these machines for over 10 years now. I had the pleasure of bringing one in at a previous school that I was at, and was just impressed with the quality of it, the tolerances that they can hold, and that this machine is really an industry quality machine that you would see in a manufacturing facility.
Wow.
And one of the great pieces about it is that this control panel is on their least expensive machine and their most expensive machine.
Wow.
So everything from $40,000 up to $500,000.
Wow.
Right? And it's on their CNC mills like this machine, the lathes, they have router tables. And so it really gives the students the skill. Once they learn how to operate this control pendant, they can then take that and apply that to all the machines across the line.
Wow.
And it really carries through a lot of different manufacturing processes. So this is a CNC 3-axis mill. Students learn really 4 different things, and
Okay.
it's not just about doing an automated process or doing the same thing over and over again. It's about how do you solve the problem, right?
Right.
Every part that you need to make is like solving a problem.
Sure.
And so we solve that problem really in 4 different avenues: through tool holding, which is these are our tool holders here.
Mm-hmm.
We would take different size machining bits that fit into here, mills, and then these are what's used to cut away at our material.
Okay.
Through a process that we call subtractive manufacturing.
Okay.
So tool holding is really that first step in the solution. The second thing that our students need to figure out is the work holding. This is a vise that's in here. There's a lot of different ways that you can hold on to a part to get it ready to be machined. So students learn what is the proper technique to use, right?
Wow.
And then how do you use that piece of technology in order to hold the part properly so that it can be machined.
Yep.
The third part is really comes in the program, right? That's the set of directions that our students are creating for the machine to understand. And basically it's using the Cartesian coordinate system. You're moving from point A to point B to point C. You just keep going around until you machine your finished part.
Wow.
And how fast do you want to move there? How deep do you want to cut it? And so it's that process. It's learning that language
Right.
of programming.
I mean, going like this seems pretty easy, but there's a lot that goes into
There's a
making
lot
that.
of points that, right?
Right.
If you remember your high school geometry,
I
there's
know.
there's a lot of points that go on your graph.
Right.
Right. And each point in space has a point that needs to be programmed.
Wow.
And so it's that set of directions of how we want the machine to operate.
Right.
And then the fourth thing that our students learn is the machine setup, right? So it's taking all those things, the tooling, the work holding, and the programming, and pulling those together in order to make a finished part.
Wow.
And then once you've done it, made that part once, it's trying to figure out, okay, how do I improve that? How do I make that better? How can I cut down my runtime, right? How can I produce it more accurately? And then it's measuring it and comparing it against your original blueprint or your CAD drawing to make sure that it meets the design intent, and then it's within all the tolerances.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, just as an idea for the people watching, what does a machine like this cost?
Yeah. So Haas is very gracious. They have educational discounts that they offer. They offer training to teachers. So a machine like this, as it sits, is about $43,000. With that includes a lot of the tooling.
Mm-hmm.
Haas started coming out with their own tooling, and so they've been able to use that and include that in the packages. And then really from there, it's just your material costs that you need, and then the replacement bits that you use, because they're consumables, right?
Yeah,
It's like
sure.
a drill bit, right?
Right.
So it gets used up over time or gets broken, and so you need to be able to replace that and repair.
Great. Well, I think this is great what you're doing. And how long have you been involved in the program now?
With Morgan?
Yeah.
It's been about 1.5 years now, and this is just the start of our journey.
Great. Well, we hope the journey is very long and fruitful. And again, thank you so much from our community to Goodwin College. I think what you're doing for our community and our kids is really something we all appreciate very much. So thank you very much, Matt. We appreciate it. And our best to Goodwin College. And good luck in the future.
Thank you so much.
Well, that wraps up for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show talking about this wonderful coalition between Morgan High School, Goodwin College, and of course, all these great manufacturers are represented here tonight. And if you have any questions, make sure you contact. If you want to see other shows, you can contact Iris.Dunham at clintonpublic.net. We'd be happy to come out and film events like this, but we can't do it without your support and letting us know that you want things that you want to see covered, and we'll make sure we do it and do it the best way we can. So I want to thank Iris Dunham. She's had a long day. She's been in the studio editing some of our shows. She spent a lot of time here tonight, but I want to thank Iris so much. She's our producer, director, editor. She's our do-it-all person. So thank you very much, Iris, and thank you all for watching tonight's show, and we'll see you again in another upcoming show. My name is Tom Foster. This was Talk of the Town.